Hi, my name's Chris, and I am the Rusty Caveman. Today we are at Tycoon Lake Wildlife Area. Obviously we're in my truck. I just got done walking the Ridge Trail. The Ridge Trail is something that I used to walk all back when I was anywhere between 8 and 12 or 13, which would put it in the late 70s, early 80s. Back then, if you lived in the country, your play area would be measured in square miles. The entirety of Tycoon Lake Wildlife Management Area, up and down all the different roads around here, back on our property. This is where we used to play, and we would be gone all day. Anyway, back to the point. The Ridgeline Trail is on the backside of Tycoon Lake itself. You got to get to it from the old road that comes in from the comes off of Gooch and Vaughn Road. You can park down here. It used to be an old boat launch, and then you can walk up on the trail. The trail feels like it's uphill both ways. You've got three major spots where it tops out, and it's a bit of a climb. I would say you're probably gaining 225 feet of elevation at each one of those peaks. There's a couple that's a little higher than others, but you feel every step. It's not an easy walk. You're walking up pretty good hills here. In this particular video, kind of just showing a little bit more of my childhood. We used to run that ridge line at least once a week in the summer, back and forth, just because it was there. It was something to do. We'd come off of Eagle Road, cut in through a few forests, or little fields and forests. You know, back then everybody knew everybody. And hit the backside. There's a beaver dam over there. I walked over there, but I wasn't able to see where it was. I think it's a little bit further up than what I remember. Right now, Tycoon Lake has been drawn down about 5 feet from its normal height. We had a slip on the dam, which means the ground became saturated and the top layer of dirt, because it's an earthen dam, started to slide down the hill. Down here we have that fairly often. Anyway, they took the water out of the lake, pulled it down, so it's pretty low. And I'll go over and I'll show you the dam, show you the new spillway they put in. They finished the work. It's actually starting to come back up. It could probably take another couple of years before it finally gets all the way back up to where it was. There is a new mechanical spillway that wasn't there before. The one that was here originally is a concrete box. I don't know if it's clogged up or if they just didn't think it would do the job. We're also going to take a look over at the other dam and look at the swamp that's up behind that. That's usually a good area to go duck and goose hunting. We'll take another look at the lake. You can see in the first clip, you should be able to see a lot of the stumps that are sticking up. Some of them are appear to be really high. In actuality, when the water was up to full height, they were a couple inches below the surface. A lot of boats would hit them unless you knew the lake well. Either way, if you ever have the opportunity to take the Ridgeline Trail, it's well worth the walk. There's a lot of pretty scenery up here. This time of year is a great time of year to walk it. A lot of the leaves are on the ground. There's a lot of color in the trees left. It's just a nice walk. Take your time, catch a break at the top of each one of the hills. You might see some wildlife. This is a state game area. There's plenty of squirrels, there's plenty of deer. It's a nice area. Absolutely a nice area. Across the way there, you can see where I was a little spot where you can come down to the edge of the water there. That's where I was parked. All the way off to the right is the ridge system. And you can see where it goes up, kind of peaks out. There's three pretty good peaks. And then in the far distance there on the right, it drops back down into another, basically an inlet. It's a swamp. The history behind this lake was sometime in the late 49, late 40s, late 50s or early 50s. The state of Ohio came in and bought this section of land from the guy that owned it. His house would have been up on the ridge, a little bit to the left of the parking lot area that's across the street, across the lake, which you can't see. And to this day, you can still find evidence of some of his flowers that he had around the house. The section where his house was originally was a primitive campground. They still have it as a primitive camping area, although it's much reduced from what it originally was. I misspoke earlier when I said that this is a mechanical spillway. This spillway is passive. In other words, when the water gets high enough, it just naturally flows out the side. This over here, I believe, is still a mechanical spillway. Has gates that go up and down. And I believe it's still in use, but I don't know for certain if it is or not. It looks like they've done some cleanup on it. Looks like they've added some gates and things to it, which wasn't there before. Right there's the outflow. Just a little creek. Actually swings over by the over and crosses over the road. This swamp right there is one of them, the inflows. And then way over there in the distance, same side of the lake, is another inflow. Here's a little bit better view of the old ramp. You can kind of see off in the distance there. It's almost directly across the lake from me, dead center of the screen for the most part. That's where the truck was parked 15 minutes ago. As you can see, all these stumps are sticking up in the air. That actually was an old road bed. We got somebody duck hanging across the way there. This is another view of the other inlet, the other swamp. The end of the ridge trail basically comes down that hill off to the left. Everything to the right is pretty much private ownership, a couple of 100 feet from the shoreline. Off to the left was another old boat launch. They pretty well turned it into just a parking lot. Don't allow launching of boats at this point in time. Off to the right, you can see the second dam. On the other side of that dam is an old swamp. All this grass and brush that you see in the foreground will be under 3-4 feet of water when this thing fills back up.